Well, hello again, and welcome to episode 19 of Tales from the ER, People Behaving Badly. Now, for those of you who've seen all of the videos, you may have heard this one before. It was the very first one I posted, and it's such a great story that I want to make sure that other people can hear it if you didn't already. So this one might be familiar too. If you haven't heard it, I hope you sure enjoy it. It's one of the best. And that is, on a normal Saturday afternoon, I had a triage nurse come up to me and say, "Dr. Matt, we have a patient up front who I think has a Pez dispenser stuck in his butt. And our job is so bizarre that I immediately believe the story, and if they're playing a prank on me, it's funny either way." So sure enough, this man did have a Pez dispenser stuck in his anus, and the back end was coming out, so the head was actually inside the person. We were not able to remove it without sedation, so we bring him back to a room. We try to be humane and merciful. We point his rear end to the back of the wall. We draped him. We had to put an IV in. We sedate him. And at this time, people have noticed that this is the most interesting thing going on in the ER. So quite the crowd is starting to gather outside the room. Not everyone was watching, of course, because that wouldn't be very nice. And so we go ahead and we proceed to sedate this patient. And I realized that this is not going to be quite as easy as I'd hoped, because the Pez dispenser was fully deployed inside him, and that plastic tracking that holds the candy together was clamped down on rectal tissue. Now, at this point, I think some bets were wagered about what character would be on the other end of the Pez dispenser head. And so I had to take this apart using both hands, and finally I was able to give birth to this plastic prize, and everyone waited on bated breath what was going to be the character on the other end. And sure enough, it was none other than Boba Fett, the Mandalorian. And so then, of course, a multitude of dad jokes then ensued. For example, Star Wars, Empire Strikes from the back. And others chimed in saying, "Never underestimate the power of the dark side." Now, we have a pretty interesting crowd in the ER. In fact, even one of our paramedics was sitting outside the room waiting for all this to play out, eating an ice cream sandwich. You just can't make this stuff up. I sure hope you've enjoyed hearing this story, episode 19, Tales from the ER, People Behaving Badly.